Today is the day. This is a very big day for the LS Miata, the channel, me. It's gonna be its first time drifting. We don't have a handbrake in it because my second set of rear calipers didn't show up in time, so I couldn't put the handbrake in. I also haven't made it yet, but regardless, no handbrake, which is fine. Should just make tandem a little hard once I get there, but we gotta shake the car down. We've got some used RSRs on the back now. We've got a new pair, and then we've got a bunch of junk tires. Today really is just a shakedown day. I wanna figure out the car, figure out its strengths, its weaknesses, things I need to address before like the first actual drift event, but timing worked out perfect because private days like this are very stress-free and I have plenty of time to mess with the car and figure out, you know, any issues that I might have or anything like that. But bring it back. Oh man, but yeah, I'm not nervous, but I'm like borderline nervous. I'm like excited. This is big. I have no idea how it's gonna drive. It's not like an S chassis or something where, you know, you bolt on all these parts and you pretty much know how it's gonna drive. You've seen one drive, or you've driven one. There's like one or two other LS Miata drift cars that I know of in the States, and then I don't know of anyone running this angle kit. You know, it's just kind of all unknown territory, so it should be really interesting. So anyway, enough talking, let's go drive.
This thing should fuck. That's all I have to say.
I'm hyped.
I'm so pumped.
I'm like, it's like I was saying, it's like unproven. It's not like an S chassis with an LS and Wisefab that's like everyone knows how it's gonna drive. It's like angle kit that nobody in the States I know of is running. LS Miata, which I don't know of anyone drifting them. There's like one or two other people.
Miatas, and you've been in there, but this is a whole different.
Yeah, this car is completely different from when it was turbo. I mean, different subframes, different diff, different trans, different angle kit, different rear, different ride height, different setup, cage, seats, like everything is different.
What about earplugs though? This shit's loud.
Yeah, right. All right, let's get to it. Gotta check all the fluids and then we're gonna take it for a rip.
Yeah, Taylor's going right for it. What was that?
It doesn't self-steer very well.
You got enough caster?
I have like almost 7 degrees, so it should be enough. It just like steers like halfway and then just stops.
It's not. Is it binding, you think?
No, it's just like it like gets like halfway and then just doesn't self-steer anymore. It's like really throwing me off. I have to like feed it.
Fight it, yeah.
I probably just need to try to add some more.
Yeah. Worst case, you take it back out.
Yeah. Do a couple more. Feels sick though. It feels fast.
It looks fast.
Yeah. And it's got plenty of power to do third, but I'm chilling in second.
Yeah,
like
you can see it, yeah.
It shreds.
All right, let her eat.
All right. Going out for session number 2. Gonna see if I can get used to the way the car drives. You know, I'm used to the Z, which is very self-steery. I should still need to like set it up to self-steer more than it is though. It is a little bit on the low self-steer side of things. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go mess around with it some more because I'm just excited to drive it. It is everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. Power-wise, plenty of power, angle-wise, amazing. I mean, like, it feels like I thought it would. It's very fast in drift, especially, I mean, these are like 2-3-year-old front scrubs that I had. 205R compound. Feels way better now. Way better now. Very predictable, very controllable. Oh my God, guys, this thing is everything I hoped and dreamed it would be in a drift car. Like, and what it is, it's a Miata with an LS in it. I expected it to be exactly what it ended up being. You know, I wanted it to be kind of twitchy and fast. I wanted to be able to transition very quickly for tandem. I wanted it to be fast in drift because they're fast in drift with like crappy 205s and 200 horsepower. So I was like, with 300 plus and some sticky 205s or 225s, it should be fast, and it is. It is indeed very, very fast in drift, and it's not even set up yet. It's 7K rear springs. I'll probably run 4s or so I'll have even more grip, but it feels phenomenal. Those couple changes we made, adding some rear grip by dropping pressure down, losing some front by upping the pressure a little bit, helped tremendously. The car feels super solid. I really wish I had a handbrake in it because I'm like, I feel ready to tandem. But the problem is without the handbrake when you're in tandem, you have no safety net. And like you guys can say, handbrakes are lame, whatever. I can run a whole tandem run consistently without touching the handbrake. But if you surge up and you've got a scrub speed, you can only do so much with left foot brake in that situation. You can left foot brake to maintain your proximity, but to slow yourself down and stay in drift is very hard. You need to use the handbrake. The handbrake keeps you in drift and slows you down. And the thing is, you think like, oh, whatever, you just ditch the run. But if you straighten up, when you're really close, you're just gonna plow into the person. So handbrakes are important for close tandem. But left foot brake is better. It's hard to explain. I'm not gonna go into it. But yeah, Adam's messing around in his car. Says it feels good. So I'm gonna let my car cool down, finish off these tires. They're pretty much done. What's dope too is like I can run second or third gear. I can run second, I've got enough wheel speed, but I can throw it in third and just bake them off. Like, oh, it's like exactly what I wanted. Man, I'm just, it's literally exactly what I thought it would be. It's not at all let down, so that is sick. So anyway, do some tandems here soon after I bake these tires off. guys, update on the Miata. It feels phenomenal. I was getting a little worried because my oil pressure was getting low at idle, but then I realized the gauge was starting at like -5, so it's not even that low. Tires are lasting forever, like I thought they would. This is after 2 like 5 straight lap sessions, and they're still basically brand new. So a set of tires should last me at least a couple sessions on a normal drift day, which is awesome. That is the goal of this car. You know, and it's fast in drift, and that was the other goal of this car, to be fast in drift, keep up with some of the higher horsepower, bigger tire cars, but still be cheap to drive because these tires are like 75 bucks a tire. So it's doing everything I wanted it to do. It is getting a little warm, and it doesn't really like to cool down on its own. So definitely need to do the fan shroud with the bigger fans, which we're gonna do. It is on the list. I have the shroud, I'm waiting on the fans. But all in all, it's everything I hoped it would be. It wasn't a dream crusher where I'm like, this thing's gonna be sick, and it like sucks, or like it's too much power for 205s. It's like the perfect amount of power, perfect amount of grip. Like, it's solid. It is very solid, and I'm so happy with it. The angle feels great. Like I said, made those changes, and the angle feels dialed now. The car still drives like a Miata. It's, you know, you've kind of got to walk it through the self-steer. We might try to add some caster, add some toe. I'm not gonna mess with that now because I'm probably will just change the whole alignment. But all in all, like, it feels great, and that's with no handbrake. Like, I can't wait to have a handbrake and be able to just pin it all the way to the start and like chuck it in with the handbrake. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to do some tandems. Adam's having some trouble with his car, so we're gonna try to figure that out, and then hopefully we can get some tandems in because I feel confident. The brakes feel very good for left foot braking. It's like super easy to modulate. Even when I run out of booster, it's like they're there, which is really nice because before I didn't have that with this car. I had to just stand on the brake. We're gonna do some following with Alberto. See how the car feels, see how much grip it has in comparison. I think I might have just rod knocked it.
You took him for a ride, didn't you? You took him for a ride?
I didn't.
Well, at the open house.
I did.
You up. What are you, stupid? You never take him for a ride.
No one told me that.
Sorry, dude. That was
I'm
a
not even
secret
that
weapon.
bummed about it, but like,
As soon as we saw you, I was like, go for a ride. That thing will kill the competition. He hopped in and look at you now.
I'm just bummed of like, because I'm pretty sure it's rod knock that I can't race. I'm like 100% sure it's rod knock. I mean, I'll start it up.
Recording. Hold on, let me get in position.
Ready?
Hell no.
What's that noise?
I hear a knockdown.
Sounds like your sway bar's loose.
That's what it is.
Oh, man. It's fine.
Hopefully I don't get rod knocked so I can say, The K Miata is victorious. No, I don't want to say it.
It's funny because we talked about this yesterday,
Literally did.
and I was like, we can't break either of our cars because if one breaks, it's
Who
not
wants
like
to win by that?
this isn't like it's not a win because this is just a comparison. It's not like we're
can
winning.
I say what I'm most pissed about? I can't sell my car now until you put this back together and we
True. Why? It was.
Something else you can bring to the firm? You gotta come still. You could drive. We could drive.
Yeah, I'll bring. I mean, I'll
Max
come.
bringing the Miata, we could drive.
I'll bring something.
Yeah.
The idle was like, if the pressure was really low at idle, I was watching it while I was drifting though. Like as I was drifting, and I mean, it was only making 30 PSI at like high RPM, which is kind of sketchy. Didn't matter apparently. So Miata's first drift day, unsuccessful, successful. I mean, at the end of the day, I can get another engine. I can put it in. I need to do the trans anyway. Yeah, right? Seriously. All right, here's what I'll do. I'll go buy a Caprice PPV. I'll pull the engine out of it, the LS3 out of it, put it in this car, and then put an iron block in it and turbo it. I'm not necessarily, I'm kind of bummed. Not like super bummed because that was already sketchy with the low oil pressure, so I kind of saw it coming. But I'm just like, you know, but it had oil pressure drifting. The oil pressure's always been a little low for my liking. Could be a pump, bad pump. It could be, I don't know, it could be a lot of things. It really could. What should I do? What motor should I put in it? Obviously another LS, because people don't realize that the swap kit is the expensive part of all this. It's not the engine. It's definitely another LS engine because I have everything. I just need a long block. But do I go up to a 5.7? Do I do a 6 liter? You know, do I do a new cam and springs while I'm at it? You know, I just don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but might have to go down the rabbit hole some. I don't know. At least I didn't buy a Turbo LS project because we got some work to do on this. All right, the Miata is back home safe and sound. Still drove in under its own power. At the end of the day, it was a $700 junkyard motor with a $400 cam and spring combo thrown in. If you guys watched the series, you know we didn't open up the bottom end, we didn't do anything. My whole kind of thoughts from the beginning of this were I want to get the motor in the car, I want to get the car running and driving, and if it turns out the first time I started it has rod knock, like so be it. The hard part is getting everything else done. It's getting the swap done, the car wired up, like everything else done. Changing a motor at that point is not a big deal. And that's kind of where we're at. You know, we threw a junkyard motor in, took a chance, you know, didn't change the oil pump, didn't do any of that stuff. And it lasted a little bit, but it didn't last very long. So, I mean, in hindsight, I guess we should have changed the pump and gone through the motor. But again, I didn't want to get in there and be like, oh man, I need to do this, I need to do that, and go down the rabbit hole. And then, you know, 3 months that the motor could have been in the car, it's at the machine shop or whatever. I didn't want to deal with that, you know, on the chance that could be fine. So we did take the chance. It did bite us a little bit, but at the end of the day, the whole like come back stronger thing, like we will, because after seeing how this car felt with 340 horsepower, it definitely would be completely drivable and comfortable still with over 400. I think it'll still be enough grip for like the 400 horsepower range. So if I can find one, I might look for like a 5.7 or a 6 liter aluminum block, depending, you know. If not, you know, I'll go with another 5.3. Just, it'll depend on what I can find. But now I know, like when I built this, I specifically tried to keep it lower horsepower. I wasn't trying to go for crazy numbers because I thought it would be too much. And it's not at all. So, I mean, we learned some things, like all this stuff's a learning process. I'd rather do it myself and learn and try to go kind of the cheap route when it's not something that important and find out if it's going to work or not. Because, I mean, we could put this motor in as a junkyard motor and it could have lasted us like 100,000 miles, and we could have completely built the motor from the bottom up and it could have blown up first day. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, it just sucks we can't do the race. Like all this time and this build up, and like we can't even do it, you know. That's the only thing I'm really bummed about, because the motor needed to come out anyway. I needed to do a rear main seal on it. I needed to do the trans because the 5th gear went on it. So like it's not really any more work than what I'm already doing, but I did want to do the race. I did want to prove myself and prove that the car could do it. But you know, we'll have to postpone that for another day. We still got the tires, still got the brakes. Car is set up. That's all we really had to change. So yeah, okay, long-winded outro over. Still gonna go to the firm tomorrow, hopefully, unless I am just way too tired, which is possible. But I should see you guys there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.